Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to see something on the show that you think that we should be doing, or you want to elaborate on something, drop them in the comments. Drop them in those comments, or hit us on any one of our social media outlets. We would love to hear from you. I don't want to hold things up. It's a lot of juicy stuff going on in sports right now. My goodness, from March Madness to NFL moves to NBA, baseball's here now. I don't want to hold up anymore, but let me introduce my co-host, the man of the hour, the myth, the legend. What we like to call here is our sports almanac, Mr. Steven Rubain. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm glad to be 2 weeks in a row in the studio. I love it. I love it. I love it.
How'd you like that intro?
It was a great intro. That's one of your strongest ones yet.
Oh, thank you.
I think we're starting to get it down. I think you're almost ready for football season.
Oh, man.
Man. But I'm glad to be back with you, of course.
Glad to have you back.
You know.
How was that flight?
Flight was nice.
I know something that didn't happen this time that normally happen when you take a flight.
What's that? I didn't get sick.
Exactly.
It was the first time in probably several years. I don't know what it is about airports.
You must have been ducking and dodging the bug this time.
This time I flew smart. I flew back on Easter Sunday in the morning when I figured everybody is not going to be at the airport. So the airport was a lot lighter than normal. So I think that helped me out. So that was a good thing. But it was a nice flight out, nice trip. Yeah, just excited to get back into this.
Always nice to be in Carolina, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's always nice. The weather held up pretty much nice for the most part.
Right.
A little bit of rain, but otherwise it was nice. It was a real nice time to go. If you're going to go to Carolina, it's always good to go in the early spring.
Did you spot any of my players out there?
Didn't spot none of your players, and pretty the gist of the attitude in Carolina is generally positive. They feel like the team is trying to do something in the right direction.
Finally looking like we're trying to do something.
Trying to go out and make some moves. And so we're going to see come this draft. We got just a little more than 3 weeks from the draft. Can you believe that?
Wow. But you know me, I'm not that excited. We don't have a first round pick this year.
I know. Well, I'm excited because we got the number 2 pick in the draft. We're going to get to that tonight.
You know what? The main thing I would want Carolina to do?
What's that?
Get a new negotiator.
Yeah,
our negotiator is horrible.
Yeah, well, I have a habit of liking to give guys away for much less than their value. You don't believe in the value of a player.
If we're going to get rid of somebody the next season, if we don't believe in paying for them, the season where we're going to have to pay, get a pick for them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Let them go early.
Well, I mean, it makes no sense to have a guy for 3 years and then just let him walk.
We had a horrible season.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything. You could have been letting people walk during the season.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, those guys would definitely been worth some draft picks. Teams who needed them for the playoffs.
You know what, people? I'm sorry. It's just the emotion built up. The season's on this way. And Carolina, my boys, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is. But before we get into all the NBA, let's start with March Madness.
Ooh-wee, man. I hope your brackets held up better than mine.
Yeah, actually my brackets did, because I had a good feeling that the top teams were the cream was gonna rise to the top this year, even though everybody was thinking, it's gonna be all these huge upsets and blah blah blah. I said this year we got some super teams. They're gonna go and rise to the top, and sure enough, in both the men's and the women's, pretty much the 2 best teams in both made it to the Final Four.
Wow.
So let's start first with the women this time, because this week is all about the women's basketball game. Because I don't know if you heard, but this Iowa Caitlin Clark, she's bringing in the ratings. This Iowa game against LSU, the highest rated women's basketball game in history.
I am happy for women's sports. I think people are starting to get it now with women's sports, where in college though, not even college has more rah than the WNBA.
Yeah. Well, I agree. And to put it into perspective, think about this: that game on Monday night had higher ratings than the NBA Finals last year.
Woo wee!
So you put that into perspective, that you were actually thinking that would ever happen, that college basketball game would have a higher rating in the women's side than a in men's NBA game.
It has to be something because it's transcending. It's falling over into the other sports. The Big Three wants to get that one girl, give her a $5 million deal.
Yes,
way more than she will make in the WNBA.
Way more.
Did you get the particulars on that? How many years would that be for?
Well, it was going to be a 1 year, $5 million deal. They told 1 year, $5 million, see how she does. So that's a lot of money.
no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You would think she would take that money, but I mean, she's making $5 million plus in endorsements anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see what she decides to do. But
I wonder if college sports has realized the gain they got from paying the players now. How much better the game is now, because now they really want to get these deals, so they want to shine. They want to show out.
Well, there's two sides to it. I think from a player's perspective, the players are loving it. Right. And from the fan perspective, fans are loving it. The old school coaches, though, hate it. So when you're talking about the guys like the Krzyzewskis, the Sabins, the guys who or the guy for Izzo, Michigan State, those guys are hating it because they used to be able to get all the talent anyway. The players were getting paid before. It's just that it was being paid under the table. They acting like they didn't know what was going on.
It wasn't legal.
It wasn't legal, but everybody understood those guys were getting paid. It's just a matter of now the players now can dictate their value, whereas before they had to settle for whatever the boosters, whoever was going to pay them off, was going to give them. So that's pretty much the main difference, is that it's reaching a wider web of players, and it's also players now have more control over their money, and they can sit there and say, hey, you don't want to pay me what I want, I will go transfer it elsewhere. So
they don't like the players having that say.
They don't like the players having that say, yeah, because before the coaches dictated what you were going to do, because if you wanted to play at an elite school, you had to do what that coach wanted you to do. Whereas now you can sit there and say, okay, well, so-and-so is going to pay me more money, I'm going to go with them.
It's wide open now.
So it's wide open. So yeah. So let's get into, so for the women's Final Four, we got a super duper Final Four matchup of Iowa versus UConn. So for those who don't know, UConn has been a dynasty the last 25 years in women's college basketball. Gina Ariana, probably the most famous, successful coach in women's basketball. I think he's been like the 20-some Final Fours.
Right.
Here you got Iowa. This is like their second or third Final Four. The question is, the biggest question people are saying now, there's two things. First of all, can Iowa get past UConn, and can they beat South Carolina, the undefeated South Carolina team? And then second of all, if they do that, will Caitlin Clark go down as the GOAT in women's college basketball?
You know what? Let's calm down with the GOAT expression.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting carried away. Everybody wants to know who's the GOAT. The GOAT. The GOAT will be who the GOAT will be. Worry about the game. Worry about winning the game. Worry about getting the accolades and the trophies. And the GOAT is given to you by the people, from the people.
From the people. So we'll see. To me personally, I still got to go with Cheryl Miller, because Cheryl Miller in the 80s, she was like playing like a man, and I say this in a respectful way. She played like a man in those days. She was that player that just dominated inside, outside, everything. I mean,
she looked better than her brother.
Yeah, exactly.
to me, honestly,
she was amazing in college. I mean, I remember when I first heard about her, when she scored, remember that 105-point game against, I think it was Inglewood she played against, where she scored 105 points in high school, and we're like, 105 points? How do you score 105 points in high school? That can't be real.
Balling out of this world.
But then when she got to college, she took it to that next level. Back-to-back national championships for USC. So
she had a excellent career.
Yeah,
went to doing shows. I think she was on the Living Single a lot.
Yeah, she was on the Living Single a lot. Unfortunately, they didn't have the WNBA back then, because it would have been interesting to see how she would have done if they would have had that type of pro basketball league then. For women.
I wonder what happened to her. She used to do a lot of commentating, and then just kind of like
just kind of fade out to whack. I don't know. We got to do a Where Are You Now segment on Cheryl Miller, because
let's figure it
we'll
out.
Have to do that. That's going to be something we're going to look into. Maybe head up for next week.
All right.
Cheryl Miller, But yes, okay. So we got Iowa, UConn, and then we have South Carolina against the upstart NC State. So that's the team that nobody expected to be there. So we'll see how they do. It's going to be interesting to see. Let's get to the men, because now in the men we got what could be a super duper final of Purdue versus Connecticut.
How'd you do with your brackets on the men?
Men, I did good, but I got Purdue, Connecticut in my final. So if Purdue can beat NC State, and
But in your brackets, are you still in the money running?
I'm still not too much in the money. The killer for me was NC State.
Oh, okay.
Because I had Houston playing Purdue, and when they lost, that pretty much knocked me out of the money stuff. But I'm still can still get that championship though.
Me, I had USC and LSU.
Yeah,
and I was there. I was in the 1,000 percentile. They had me. I was only
right.
1K of people, so I was right there until those two teams lost.
Yeah. I had. Well, I had in the women's. I had UConn, I had Iowa, and I had South Carolina. NC State was the only one that messed me up, and so I'm in pretty decent shape. Like I said, if it's a South Carolina Iowa final, I don't think I'm gonna win the whole thing, but I'm gonna be up there and close. So
it was fun.
It was fun. So yeah, so we got two good matchups for the Final Four on both the men's and the women. So enjoy this weekend. Starting Friday, the women. Starting Saturday with the men. I'll be watching.
Please like, subscribe, and share. Just wanted to add that in there to all the people that just now tuning in. Please, how you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Every week after week, you guys stay by us, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, we're just two fans of the game. We two people passionate. We do all the stuff. We do the fantasy. We do a little bit of the gamble here and there. We do a little bit of scouting.
And what we do the most is we give it to you straight. We're not going to sugarcoat it or water it down.
Absolutely.
We're not one of the major networks is going to overlook something. When we see something foul, we're going to point it out.
Absolutely. And speaking of foul, let's talk about this new league, the United Football League. Oh yeah. So this weekend I had a chance to watch some of the not as much as I wanted to, but I did watch some of the United Football League games. I'm telling you, I'm really digging the fact of this instant replay. You get all the inside. You can hear exactly what the people are looking into, making their decisions. NFL got to do that. I mean,
I'm hoping the NFL is watching, or they're going to take it as a slap to the face and ignore it.
Yeah, they got to, because I mean, it makes the game so much easier. There's no controversy. Everybody can clearly see how they came up with those decisions. And so, I mean, it's just something the NFL needs to look into. The other thing I like, of course, is this no extra points. You can score from the 1, 2 point, or 3 point extra point. So you can actually have a 9-point touchdown, 9, 8, or 7. I like that. But I was thinking about something. I was saying, if the NFL wants to keep, how's it sound to you? If the NFL wants to keep the kicking into the NFL as far as extra points, I was thinking, say it's the fourth quarter and you're down 2 touchdowns, 2 minutes left in the game. Onside kicks don't work. We come to the conclusion that an onside kick just doesn't work in the NFL. It's not fun anymore. Nobody ever gets the onside kick. They just need to eliminate that. So how's this sound? And you want to keep the kicking in. Instead of going for your regular 1 point extra point or a 2 point pass or run, you can kick a 60-yard field goal. If you make the 60-yard field goal, not only do you get the point, but you also get the ball to the 50-yard line. That could be a way to keep the game interesting, make the kicker more relevant, put the pressure on, keeping the game scoring up. You don't have, and then also the other thing is that if the kicker misses the field goal, you can put somebody back there and they can do a run back, like they do in a college game, where if you miss it, they can run the ball back. You run it back, you get a touchdown. So they can have a kickoff in that sort of way. So it's just something to think about that can make the game a lot more interesting, that people will keep tuned in, because we all know if you got down 2 touchdowns and like 2 minutes left in the game, game's over. You just can't. You just can't get that onside kick. But now,
Or you know what? Let's open that up. I like what you just put together. Let me see if I can unpack what you said. What the UFL does in extra points, you want to have the NFL to make the onside kick better, or the punt better.
to eliminate the onside kick, because the onside kick doesn't work.
It works sometimes.
It's like less than 10%, like
6%,
7%. That's something to actually get the ball. It's not feasible anymore. It just doesn't. It doesn't serve the purpose what it should do, to keep the game interesting.
So what you want to say and say to Roger Goodell, why not try this?
Yeah.
Instead of the
onside
kick, you would like to go to the 60-yard line,
mm-hmm.
or the
50-yard line,
and do a 60-yard kick.
Yeah.
If you make the kick, how many points is it?
It'll be a 2-point plus you get the ball.
2 points plus you get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss it, the other team is able to get it and take it back, run it back.
Exactly.
Now, if they get stopped on the run back, is it start their plays from there?
No, then depending on where they get stopped, at the minimum they start at the 35-yard line. So if they get stopped before the 35-yard line, the ball gets moved up to the 35. If they move past the 35-yard line, they can get the ball wherever they move it up to.
Okay.
So there's a minimum. So the incentive to stop them is worth it, because you're going to get the ball in good field position.
Okay, so a team scores.
Yeah.
The other team is behind.
Correct.
The other team, instead of wanting them to kick the ball, they elect to go for a 60-yard field goal.
Correct.
And if they make the field goal, they get 2 points plus the ball back.
Correct.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean that'll keep the game.
But it's only like 2 or 3 quarterbacks. I mean, kick.
Right.
They can make that 60-yard.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the pressure is. Teams are going to have to now start getting long distance kickers to be able to make a kick like that. So it's going to be
I like it.
Yeah, it makes it. You have a much better shot of making a 60-yard field goal than you do doing an onside kick. So, like I said, it puts it makes the kicker more relevant now, because now kickers can keep you in the game.
I like it a lot.
So that's something to think about. I just think if the NFL wants to keep the kickers being relevant towards the end, that's a good way to make a kicker a much more important aspect of the team. It don't have to be 60 yards. It could be 55 yards.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Let us know. Drop them in the comments, or hit us up and just give us your feeling, your take on it.
And the reason why I brought up the 60-yard kick is that in the UFL game, in the game versus Michigan versus St. Louis, Jake Bates. That's an interesting name. That's a cool football name.
Jake Bates.
Jake Bates kicked a 64-yard field goal to win the game.
He's going to be in the NFL.
So he's going to be in the NFL. Yeah, the NFL teams are already calling for him. But you think about it, if Jake Bates can kick a 64-yard field goal to win the game, think about NFL kickers. They should be able to make a 60-yarder.
Did you get any news on Matt Corral? Because he was doing.
Matt Corral was playing. He was playing. You know what? He looked good out there. So I mean, I think we're going to keep an eye on him.
I don't think he got his fair shot in the NFL.
No, I mean, the NFL is a tough league for quarterback. We had this conversation before. NFL, they throw you out there immediately as a quarterback. It's not like the old days where you had to season, learn under a veteran, blah, blah, blah.
Get to ask questions.
Yeah, right.
See the speed of the NFL.
Exactly.
Maybe get put in 1 or 2 plays and get taken out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these guys now, you're in there, they put you in there immediately. If you don't pan out, you're done.
Thrown to the wolves.
And that's it. I mean, we're seeing now with Carolina and Bryce Young. I mean, he was put in a no-win situation, and now, people are questioning, was he worth the number 1 pick?
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you,
yeah,
and those people, Bryce Young is Carolina's QB. Wait and see. This is his second year.
Right.
Second year. The first year, he had no supporting cast. He had one man.
Right.
Adam Thielen. Carolina picked up Bryce Young, but got rid of Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Both 2 number 1 picks Carolina had.
Correct.
Relax.
Okay. So that's going to be the pressure now, is the weight of the world is going to be on his shoulders this year because people are going to want to see a huge step up. And so the question is going to be, is he going to be able to make that next step? Because the NFL, like you said, is a not for long league. They're not going to give, especially a guy of his magnitude, give him many chances. So we're going to see. But yeah, but the years, like I said, good competitive games. Like I said, I like having the home field games. There's no one location thing that was horrible.
Right.
You have more competition now. I like what I saw the first week. It was a solid first week. The ratings were pretty decent given it went up against March Madness, and so
I can't wait to check it out.
I'm gonna check it out again. I'm gonna give it next week. So
what's the closest game we can go to, Steve?
Well, I told you the closest game is Texas. Texas. You got 3 teams in Texas:
Okay.
San Antonio, Houston, and Arlington. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if I'm up for sending the game yet. I told you we had this talk last week. Going to a sporting event now is just not what it used to be. It ain't the same feel. I can tell you that much.
It's fun. It's fun. I go every year. It's fun.
Well, anyway, but we do need to talk about the NFL as far as with players and mental health.
Oh yes. This
has to be discussed. We have to bring up this topic because the NFL is an interesting league because like we talk about this being the monopoly. We know how it's just a moneymaker, blah blah blah.
Tough league.
It's a tough league. It's a violent league, of course, and it just seems like year in and year out, it's just a number of players who either get caught up with the law, have issues, the CTE, which the NFL is still trying to
CTE NFL issue. These players getting caught up with the law, not the NFL's fault.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not the NFL's fault, but the NFL as a league needs to address it. They need to come up with to just sit there and play the we don't know. It's not our problem. We're just going to wash our hands of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good enough. I mean, it's clearly something because you think about it. The NBA has its fair share of knuckleheads too. I mean, they have
all these leagues. It transcends. It goes across all leagues.
But it doesn't go. That's the thing. It doesn't go across all leagues. You may every blue moon hear about a baseball player having a particular issue. Every blue moon.
I think baseball just has a better committee that gets in there and takes care of the issue and nips it in the bud.
Well, it's not even nipping in the bud. I mean, these guys are going to jail. These guys are having all types of situations happening. I mean, we go back to the 90s with Ray Caruth, who ended up killing his girlfriend and his unborn child.
Well, the child lives today.
Yeah.
The child is brain damaged. Has issues.
Right.
And Ray Caruth is out of jail. I wonder what's that going on with that too.
Yeah, but I'm saying the NFL during that time period, they just let that just wash our hands of it. He just whatever, and then fall by the wayside, and then just move on. And the NFL's been doing this over and over again. I mean, like I said, we've seen players die with the CTE, commit suicide. Of course, Junior Seau, you had that one player for the Bears who committed suicide. NFL needs to do something about it. I mean, it just can't continue this. We're just going to go ahead and pretend like
it's not some type of issue going on.
Yeah,
it's something going on that we need to figure out.
Needs to figure it out exactly. And the reason I brought this up was one of our players who was a couple time he was an All-Pro player, Vontae Davis. You guys might remember him.
Yeah,
played for the Colts. It was a team I can think the most that he played for. But he played for about 4 or 5 teams. He's known for his last team, the Bills, retiring at halftime of a game. I mean, nobody can think of any other player who ever started the game, played, went to the locker room at halftime, and said, "I'm done. I'm cool."
I know another guy.
Who's that?
Antonio Brown.
Well,
it's not funny.
It's not funny. But
he did do that.
Yeah, he did on the field.
Yeah, he took his clothes off.
Yeah. Anyway, but once again, that's another example of what I mean about the mental health.
Yeah,
the NFL knows this guy is struggling, and they just completely wash their hands. Don't even try to even reach out to try to help him. So,
and I'm glad you pointed that out. I want to point that out to people also, people that we know are outspoken, loud spoken, and like to be seen. When we know without a shadow of a doubt,
Right.
they have some type of issue, some type of disorder, bipolar maybe, medication, not taking it or whatever. We need to stop.
Yeah.
What is the word that
Well,
stop shaming them
yeah.
and get them some help.
Well, we live in a society where people are always like your individual freedoms. Like we don't want to enlarge upon your free. We need to enlarge upon some people's freedoms. If people aren't acting right, if people are showing unstable, so people need to step in and intervene. We've stopped being an intervening society. We've become a society of after the fact. We sit there and say, "Oh man, so and so,
Maybe we should have did
we
something.
should have did something." The signs were all there, but what can we have done? Da, da, da.
And to me, like Antonio Brown's been crying out for help.
Crying,
He's even been saying it's my CTE acting up.
yeah.
He's been saying things like this, and people just taking him like he's just taking him for a
Well,
joke.
it's just Antonio Brown being Antonio Brown. It's that's the attitude people show is like, oh, well, that's just so and so. You know how so and so is. He just
I,
acts that
I
way.
would take that attitude with Antonio Brown if he wasn't so quiet for the first half of his career
Right,
and so respectable, not say anything, walk on. He wasn't even outspoken then. He was just mild mannered and he did the job well.
right.
Then all of a sudden, after that hit, who was that man that gave him that hit?
Vontez Burfict.
Yes, after that hit, everything changed with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I agree.
You can go back and look. He didn't act up until that hit.
Yeah,
So it is what it
it
is.
is what it is. So Vontae Dave, we gotta wait and see. They're not giving us a whole lot of information. He was unresponsive, 35 years old, at his grandmother's house. We got to wait and see what was the cause of death. I'm sure it's going to take weeks probably to go ahead and figure out what happened to him. But
Even if the
it's not
family want to
normal.
release it.
Yeah, well, they may not want to. Like I said, the NFL may sweep it under the rug because that's what the NFL does. And so we'll have to wait and see how this turns out with that case. Because 35-year-old man should not just be dying unresponsive at his house. Was it drugs? Was it mental health? What caused him to have
Too young, too
too
soon.
young, too soon? Exactly.
Our heart and our prayer goes out to the family.
Exactly. Now another player, this Cameron Sutton, played for the Lions, defensive back. He, and this is another example. We're talking about the NFL. He up on a domestic violence case. The Lions just cut him. Okay, we're just going to cut him. He goes in, finally turns himself in. He'll go through. They'll probably give him some kind of a probate, whatever, and his career is done, whatever, and that's it. I mean, that's how the NFL deals with domestic violence now. We can go back to Ray Rice. We remember the most famous case of domestic violence where, very productive player, and the NFL, rather than using him as an example of a positive, they could have gone ahead and made him that he turned his life around and became productive in the NFL. They just washed their hands of him.
Well, people are critical. So the NFL, they don't want to give a person a second chance to have all these women's groups come out saying, look what you're doing. Look, what are you trying to say? You're forgiving him. He did something that was unthinkable. And
But look at Michael Vick. I mean, we know all the heat was on Michael Vick with the whole dogfighting thing. They went ahead, gave him a chance, and what he came through and turned into being a productive NFL player again.
We're not going to compare dogfighting to
No.
beating a woman, though.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about in terms of the passion of people who are into that. Animal rights groups are just as passionate as for domestic violence, and so a lot of people would rather you beat them than beat their dog. I mean, it's a crazy thing to hear and say, but that is
so
the
true.
truth. And so Michael Vick was like public enemy number one when that whole dogfighting thing went down, and there were women out there who wanted his head on a platter, and he was able to pull through that, go back in the league again. He served his time, went back in the league, had successful time with the Eagles, and now he's gone on. Now I think he's like working for one of the networks. Just
complete turnaround.
Complete turnaround. No issues so far. Nothing has come up since.
I think some people forget that people are human and they make mistakes.
Right.
We're not robots, and we all fall short. and we all make mistakes.
Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying about the league needs to be there to help clear up these mistakes and kind of use it as examples how to do something positive to turn yourself around.
Not just put a big boot on their back
Not just
and
put a
kick them
big
to
wheel in the back. Yeah, exactly. Which leads us to Rashee Rice.
Oh wait.
Now, Rashee Rice, rookie for the Chiefs, had a pretty solid rookie year as a wide receiver.
Solid.
Yeah, solid. I mean,
that man won
he
a
wasn't
Super Bowl
great.
ring.
He won a ring, of course. But
He
I'm
won a
saying,
ring, and he was a pivotal part of them winning the ring.
no, I agree, but he wasn't an elite. He wasn't a great. I mean, he had a nice, solid rookie season. It was a good, solid rookie season.
He hasn't a chance to become elite. He's only had
well,
one season.
that's the thing. That's what we're
But
saying.
he showed that
And he has potential.
He has that great potential.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. So
to
now,
be elite.
I agree. And so that's what I'm saying. So now he apparently rented a Lamborghini, had another guy driving his car.
Say it's not so, Steve.
And they're out there, I guess, drag racing, and somehow it ended up being where 6 people end up getting hit. Instead of staying and just taking care of the situation, I guess they decided just to leave the scene and come up with some kind of lies or excuse of how they're going to cover for this.
Has he turned himself in yet?
Well, I think at this, number one, this is in Texas, and everybody knows if you're dealing with Texas, Texas is on a big crusade now to be the quote-unquote law and order state. So Texas is going to try to prosecute this to the full extent of the law. They're not going to give him any breaks. Yeah. He's looking at some jail time. Thankfully nobody got killed, but
thankfully,
yeah. But leaving the scene, how the situation went down.
I have to say something, Steve.
Yeah, I know you do.
Why? We need programs for young men before, when you make it to the NFL level, before the draft. Everybody in the draft needs to go through a 10-day course class on about receiving money, on stepping up to this level of the game.
Right.
I don't think there's a some type of what's the best word? There's no function or no way for them to lead up into the league. They come from nothing. Well,
they're getting a bunch of money. Well, I mean, talking about from financials, they come from nothing financially.
But now in college, they are making some type of money. But still,
right. Well, yeah, but
even with that money, the college level needs to have some type of entry course where all players go through a course where somebody's mentoring them, somebody who's been through this and has had issues with their money, issues with dealing with people with giving them money to make investments, bad investments. This needs to be addressed at the college level, and then once you step into the NFL, it has to be another introductory course, which should be a couple week course where they take classes in this. Right. The NFL should, I know they already have something, but it should be for every club should be full-time bodyguard and driving service.
Right.
Players, if you don't have to drive, don't. I have a perfectly good security company, Heavyweight Security. You can find us on Instagram. If you're in the LA area, California, or wherever you're at, because we travel, we have our passports ready. Hit me up, Bodyguard784 on Instagram. Anybody needing assistance, you need a driver, you need a bodyguard, don't drink and drive. Even if you're just going to have a sip, you just sit back and relax and let someone drive you around the city, get to all the sites, and that knows the city like the back of their hand. Have somebody that's there for you. So let's stop this now. Let's stop this. What makes it bad? There are places for you to go race cars, Steve.
Oh, big time. That's what I'm saying. And
there's places where you can go rent all these cars and race them around the track.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's the killer about is that it does not need to happen. I mean, these guys have buku money. It does not need to happen in that way. They have all the access to things that they can do it where they can do it in a safe area, go as fast as they need to go, and do it in a way that productive, safe wise. And they just don't think about the consequence. They just think they just they're more reactive than proactive,
It really
and it just
bothers
bothers
me.
me. Yeah, I mean, you would thought Henry Ruggs would be the poster child to understand you just can't get caught up in that stuff. This man, rookie with the Las Vegas Raiders, has pretty much destroyed his career. He's
Perfect person to come talk to people.
mm-hmm.
Perfect person because look, this young man made a horrible, horrible, horrible mistake.
Horrible mistake.
Horrible mistake. But let's not forget this is a young man, young men, young women, young people, period, make mistakes. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, this is we want to say it's unforgivable because someone lost their life, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just no one should ever lose their life to something as frivolous as racing or driving fast.
Or driving drunk.
We understand the excitement. You know,
Yeah.
you just step into this money, you step into the limelight. But come on, people. Come on. Too many of our athletes are being lost to the wayside behind this, Steve.
Too many. And I mean, like I said, and this has been happening over and over again, year after year after year. And the NFL just takes a approach of, okay, well, they can be replaced. You know, one player in, one player out.
Because it's like a love-hate relationship, even with the fans or the so-called fans were
Right.
making all that money and look what you did with it. Look what you did with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like giving a little baby a rein to run in the front grass. He might go into the street.
Yeah.
He's having fun. He might just run into the street.
And that's exactly how they look at it. That's exactly so. Speaking of another player who has kind of, I won't say he has a trouble, but you know, some people consider him to be kind of difficult at times. Stephon Diggs.
Wow.
Let's talk about this one. For those who don't know, today, Stephon Diggs, all-pro wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, was traded to the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Now listen to this compensation and tell me this wasn't a dump-off. The Bills trade him. They get a second-round pick next year. So it's not even this year. They get a second-round pick 2025. The Texans not only get Stephon Diggs, but they also get a fifth-round pick this year and a sixth-round pick next year. So they're getting 2 draft picks and Stephon Diggs. Whereas the Bills only get a second-round pick.
They were tired of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. I mean, clearly this was we got to get this guy out of the room yesterday. We got to do whatever we can get, we're going to go with, because
I still don't understand this when there was teams offering stuff for him.
Offering stuff for him. That's what I'm saying.
This makes no sense.
Makes no sense at all. So there's clearly a case where it just got to a point where it was just too much. We got to let this guy go. He's especially when you figure they already lost their number 2 receiver, Gabe Davis, to free agency. Now your number 1 and your number 2 is gone. Everybody and their mother knows now that you have to get a wide receiver in the draft. But if I'm a Bills fan today, I'm not feeling too good. I'm like, what are we doing?
The legs just got cut from
you. Legs just got cut from us. You're not going to pull with Stephon Diggs out of the blue. I mean, we're going to be in a division where so many teams have gotten better. KC's better. Baltimore's better. The Bills can't look at their team and going to put on the field next year and say we're going to be better.
Josh Allen should feel horrible right now.
He's feel horrible. Yeah.
I mean, people don't look at it like when players move from team to team, especially when you have a hot team like the Bills,
right?
And you lose a Gabe and a Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
and don't forget about the defense. They lost three of their stars on defense.
But Josh Allen, he's not going to be this young forever.
No,
that's a deep blow right there.
Deep blow, deep. So we'll see.
Can they recover, Steve?
I don't think so. I think the Bills going to have to take a step back. They're going to have to look at it and evaluate and find out, do we want to just do a total rebuild, or do we want to kind of ease the rebuild?
You don't think they could have gotten a trade for wide receiver for a wide receiver? They could have done anything like that.
Anything. I mean, like I said, for a player of Stephon Diggs' caliber, he's worth more than just a number 2.
I know the Cowboys been fiending for him.
Yeah. I mean, they would have given up somebody of
They probably could have got 2 wide receivers for him.
They probably could have got, and I think the Cowboys probably would have given up their number 1 for him. So
not CeeDee Lamb.
No, I'm talking about their number 1 draft pick to get
Oh,
Stephon Diggs and make his brother happy. They would probably give up their number 1.
was it past the point where they couldn't have done this? What's going on?
Well, apparently, from what I'm hearing, is that I guess the final straw was that on his social media, Diggs was kind of putting on a thing of how would what's his name, the quarterback, be without me? I made Josh Allen, kind of one of those kind of deals where it's kind of like Josh Allen would be nothing without me type of deal. And so the Bills are like, we need to end this now because we can't have him pulling our quarterback down. This is our franchise quarterback. So
got too big for his bridges.
So yeah, so
that's what it is.
It is what it is. But for the Texans, I mean, they got to be looking now. We got Joe Mixon now. We just got Diggs, along with we still have Nico Collins. We still have Tank Dell.
Now, see,
they got to be feeling pretty strong.
Well. The Texans were just fine without Diggs, and as we all know, Diggs loves to get the ball. Mm-hmm. Now, will this stifle a young quarterback, getting him over there and him screaming for the ball? Yeah. Or is he going to go over there and he's going to be different than he was in Buffalo and let the balls come to him? Because Stroud already has his favorite targets over there. So I think this, this might be can the Texans trade him also?
Well, that's the question now. Because now you're looking at Diggs, you're looking at he ran himself out of Minnesota. He's now running himself out of Buffalo. Is this the final? I mean, can he afford to have a third team that he can't get along with? So I think he's going to have to change his ways. I think he's going to understand in Houston that this is going to be a growth process and that it's not going to be all me. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for him. Can he be a team player?
I wonder if people don't understand what I mean when I want a quarterback with swag.
Yeah.
Yes, I want a quarterback with swag. I want a quarterback that knows he's the man, that know he is him. I want a quarterback that when he's on the field, he exudes confidence and he scares DBs. Yeah. I want that quarterback and that wide receiver that where the confidence is on 110.
Right.
But what I mean by swag, I don't mean by disrupting the team by getting mad when you don't get the ball.
Right.
I
mean, there's no place for it. I mean, it's defeatism. You're defeating your purpose. You're defeating what you're trying to accomplish when it's all about just me, and not about team. So we're gonna see what he's made of. I mean, this is gonna be his test to see. Now he's on a team that definitely should be competing for AFC title. Can he stay in line? Can he play the company game? Can he, not be the first one to sit there cried? Why did you throw me the ball? I was open.
Man, he went from having a position where he was Batman to now going on a team where he's more than likely Robin or one of the
right, he's one
of the Justice League players.
Right, he's one of the players.
Yeah, come on now.
So I mean, it's going to be an adjustment for him, and we're going to see, can he handle that adjustment? This is going to be pretty much his career definer, because nobody questions his talents on the field, but the question is going to be is, does he have a championship medal? Does he have that certain quality that you got to have to win a championship? So
you know what? I've always wanted to run into Julius Peppers.
Yeah,
because he was in the same type of situation, but he wasn't disruptive or unruly. Right. He just wanted to leave Carolina because he wanted to play a different position.
Right.
But my question to him, and I'm gonna have this cut, and I want to send it to him. My question to Julius Peppers: when you requested to trade from Carolina, or you wanted to leave from Carolina, where you were the star, the man, and you went to a team where you had to play back a role, what was the thinking in that?
Yeah.
What was the thinking in that? How do you want you're number one to go to be number 3, number 4?
It's an interesting question. Well, I mean, he's got elected to the Hall of Fame this year, so let's see how
instant Hall of Famer.
Instant Hall of Fame. So let's see how that plays out.
I just want to know that.
It's a great question. I mean, he, like I said, he didn't get that ring. He never got the chance to even play the Super Bowl again. Because he wasn't with Carolina when they went to Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he was there.
Okay, so he did make it to the Super Bowl.
The first time we went, he was there.
Okay, so he did make it there, but never got a chance to get that ring. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes you wonder how these guys process things, because sometimes they're their own worst enemy.
Maybe he wanted to step back. Maybe he felt like he was losing a step.
Maybe
we didn't see it, but I just, how do you go from being the man to being the man looking at the man?
Yeah,
I got to ask that question.
It's a great question. So, yes, I gotta tell you about this. The big kid in me. This is WrestleMania week.
Okay.
And I know, anybody watching the sports shows, they got The Rock on, you got Roman Reigns on, Cody Rhodes. They're all over all the Stephen A. Smith shows and all those shows. Are you gonna have any interest at all in WrestleMania? Do you have anything to you?
I'm gonna tell you this. I was a huge WrestleMania fan back in the day.
Yeah.
All my guys are gone.
Yeah.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Oh yeah.
Hulk Hogan. Booker T.
Yeah.
I like it. It's okay now. Yeah. It's okay now, but it's not the same. The characters to me used to be more outspoken. Macho Man.
Right.
The Heartbreak Kid.
Yep. Yeah, it's a different realm. I mean, there's definitely a much. It seems like they're trying to get away from that PG. It went PG for some years, and now they're trying to bring back more of that how it was back in the '90s, with a little more blood and guts and cursing and all. Well,
maybe they'll get me back.
So yeah, so we're gonna see how this WrestleMania plays out. They're hyping up this year's going to be in Philadelphia, which is be interesting.
Who was your favorite wrestler, Steve?
Growing up, I was Booker T. I liked Booker T. I did like The Rock in The Rock's era. I liked those two. I was a Macho Man fan back in the day, so those are the guys who I really enjoyed watching back in the day. I still follow today, and I'm into some of these wrestlers today. So
I watched it, and I think my last one was when the Undertaker retired.
Yeah, Undertaker, yes.
Because I was there for all that. Yeah, I never missed one when the Undertaker was there.
Right.
My favorite was Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes, I like Jake the Snake.
Like I said, Brutus the Barber. That was like the first wrestler that I liked at first. And then, man,
I was an Ultimate Warrior fan. I like his energy. So so it was wrestling.
Stone Cold
Steve Austin. Yeah, you can't go wrong with him. He definitely brought the attitude and the attitude era. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. We got WrestleMania weekend. We got, like I said, the Final Four going on this weekend. Baseball, which we haven't really even talked about yet.
It's just starting. It's just
opening week.
Into the mix.
Opening week. We did have our first no hitter the other day. It was a great story. This guy who was working at a car wash, never gave up his dream of being a pitcher, ended up getting with the Astros, and his 8th start pitched a no hitter.
Wow!
So that's an amazing rags to riches story. So good, congratulations to him. That was probably the biggest story of the week. Baseball still, like I said, it's just they got to find some. I mean, there's just something lacking as far as the star power in baseball. I mean, we've been hearing, of course,
it's all in the marketing.
Yeah, we've been hearing of course, about Ohtani and the whole thing with the gambling and all that stuff. But outside of him, you got players. I mean, there are stars, but there's nobody who transcends like.
Baseball players definitely can still walk around among us, and you wouldn't even know
who they are. Yeah, whereas like NBA and NFL. These guys are getting all the commercials, all the promotion, all the marketing. It's just a different animal. And so I don't know where baseball is going to go. I mean, I guess they become kind of tribalism and regional, just like, hell, we got our fan bases. And so as long as we put people in the seats, we don't care to expand our product. So
now Roger Goodell, my compadre here, has put out a good. Tell him one more time, Steve, for the NFL.
Or going overseas? Or something?
No, I'm talking about for the extra points and
Yeah.
to get rid of the onside kick.
Yeah, we just need to have. Like I said, I would love the idea that we could have it where rather than doing that onside kick, which is a waste of time.
This is to Roger the Goodell.
Yeah, have a guys can team can elect to do a 60-yard field goal, and then make that field goal that could be essentially an onside kick. In the fact that they would get the point and keep the ball.
2 points for a 60-yard field goal.
Yes,
plus they get the ball.
and they get the ball, and that would incentivize. Like I said, think about it. If you had a game, you're down by 10 points, and you got a minute left. You score a touchdown. Now you're down by 4. You can get that 2-point conversion, make it down to a 2-point game, and get the ball back in a position where you only need to get like 15 yards to get a field goal to win the game.
Now let's say the 60-yard kick. When they make the 60, if they make the 60-yard kick and get the 2 points, the other team still can't onside. They have to kick the ball like in the punting situation.
There you go. Yep, that's it.
Okay,
I like it.
Okay, hey,
so it's just if we're just putting it out there. I hope somebody can That's just so many other. We got to get that instant replay fixed first. I mean, that has to happen immediately.
Officiating
and instant replay that needs to be fixed immediately. Down the road, yeah, I'd be all for changing how they do the onside kick. So
yeah, there's a couple rule changes we want to look for the future.
We just want to put it out there, just
make the game better.
Yeah, and a help for those fantasy football people too, because especially in those leagues like you, of course, don't believe in the kicker. Now, would you bring the kicker back in fantasy football if you now can do that 2-point kick for the 60 yards?
Yeah, I probably would.
Okay, because I know you for years now have taken the kicker out of your fantasy leagues.
Yeah, the kicker was just null and void.
Right, but I'm saying, so now that we have this option now,
there's no more Janikowskis. Remember Janikowski? Right. Remember that one year the guy?
Oh, he would be great
points.
Yeah, he'd have been huge in this idea because he was like 60 yards field goal. That's nothing. I do that in practice every day.
Exactly.
So and like guys like Justin Tucker for the Ravens, the great kickers like him who have that leg to kick a 60-yarder. That'll make them more relevant now. Now they can become more stars because they now can decide games more. So
I like the idea.
Yeah, so it's just throwing it out there.
Don't take the onside kick out. You can elect to go for that or do this.
Yeah, you have options. Like I said, if you have a kicker who can't do it, you're not going to try it if he's not going to be able to make it. But if you have a kicker who can do it, it's worth the shot. So,
and thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. We want to hear from you. We like always you tuning in. And people ask me like, why do you be looking to the side? Because I'll be talking to people as we're on the show. I talk to people on Facebook and YouTube. And next season starting, we will be going live from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and a few more. We're trying to lock that down now. Whatever you want to see, please hit us up and let us know. And I just thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support. I like the kind words. Even if you got something to say that you think we do wrong, say that too. Let me know. We are ears wide open.
Absolutely. And we got to open up the phone lines next week. Now we're going to start getting into Draft Central. We want to hear what people feel as far as who should be number 1, who should be number 2.
Oh yeah.
Who should their team go for? We want to start hearing some of that. We need to start really getting down into where the direction these teams are heading in. So
before we get off, Steve, how you like what your team been doing so far?
Oh, I love what my team's doing. Now, tell them what you called me today. We're gonna close the show out. Tell me how you called me today, and I'm gonna tell you my initial response, and then I thought about it for a second.
I called Steve and told Steve that that Jared Goff had been traded to Washington for their number 1 pick in the draft.
Okay, so to clarify this, Jared Goff, who had a very, very great, he had a real strong season for the Lions last year. Took the Lions to the championship game. Quite frankly, they should have been in the Super Bowl. If they didn't have a bonehead coach,
yes,
they would have been in the Super Bowl. Jared Goff was a great, great player. 29 years old, in the prime of his career. Has already, like I said, led 1 team to the Super Bowl. Should have led 2. In the old days with my old owner, That's the type of move he would have made. He would have given up the number 2 pick in the draft for Jared Goff. So when you first said it to me, my first thought was, oh, there we go, making a dumb move again.
Oh, you wouldn't like Goff here too?
No, because this, like I said, he's 29. You got to go ahead now and get somebody who could be your franchise quarterback, number 2 pick in the draft, your franchise quarterback
for years to come.
21, 22-year-old.
For 3 years at the most.
3 years in a row, and on a rookie contract. So you're going to go now with this number 2 pick, get yourself a rookie on a rookie contract, build around him. If you go get Jared Goff is going to need $30, $40 million a year.
It was an April Fool's joke.
I know. But what I was saying is that initially I was upset because I'm sitting here thinking that actually happened. And then I said, wait a second. We got a new owner now. He's not going to do something.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it happened too. Somebody got me.
Yeah.
But that's what you get.
But I had to research.
Somebody gives you information. Research it.
April Fool's Day is starting to really become annoying to me because, in the old days, when we were kids, April Fool's Day was just like somebody just say something stupid. Hey, you got to.
Now they put some real stuff into it.
But now with this social media and the way they can do these articles now, you got to sit down and be thinking about, is that really a true article? Because that all throughout the Detroit newspapers, that rumor was being processed around because I think the Lion fans were like, yeah, we get number 2 pick in the draft. We can get rid of Jared Goff. Yay. So they were all excited about it.
Why would they say that when they look good?
Well, because
they look good. All their way is if they get some cornerbacks out there,
right?
Woo, they'll be hot.
Well, I agree. Listen to me. I'm a Jared Goff believer, so I just don't. Like I said, I want to give the number 2 pick in the draft for him. Now keep in mind, he was a number 1 pick of the draft when he came out of college. So you got to figure 8-9 years in the league now. He's only dropped 1 spot. So that's my question with him. If you were going to get him for like a late first round pick or an early second round pick, I'd jump on that immediately. Gotcha. But for the number 2 pick in the draft, no way.
We'll see y'all next week. Blow the Whistle Sports.
Peace.
7 p.m. Y'all be here.
Yes.
Later.
Later.